I don't know how to start this. I've been thinking about this for too long, so yeah, I don't know. Anyways, hi.
Hey everybody, it's Stevie.
I am here to document my weight loss surgery journey.
Big boobs? What?
Just to go over like history as to what my medical issues are that have brought me to getting weight loss surgery, because there's a lot of people that think that I don't need it. I do, because I got recommended by like 4 doctors to have the surgery. Brief history. I'm 30 years old. I've struggled with weight my whole entire life. Like when I was younger, I was pretty thin up until I was like 9 years old when I lost my grandfather, and that was around the same age that I started becoming very depressed. Like I was pretty much an anxious kid already, but depression kind of like came in to make depression wanted to become friends with my anxiety, so that kind of just like, took its course and ruined my life essentially. I don't want to say ruined, I want to say brought me to a lot of learning, which is why we're here today at 30 years old. I was a vegetarian from the age of 12 until I was 20, I believe 24 or 25, I can't remember. A lot of my diet consisted of a lot of sweets, vegetables. Like, I know it's such a weird mix, but yeah, I was just like a picky eater as a kid. But when it came to like sweets, that was like my number one go-to, I guess you can say. And then throughout high school, I was very active. However, like even when I was at my lowest weight, which was like, we're talking about like 140, 160 or so, I thought that I was like still overweight, which is so crazy to look back at. And right now I am like 277. My highest weight was I want to say I was pushing like 240. At one point, I was like 240. So I actually messed up here. I said that I was like at my highest weight 240, but I meant to say that I was actually like pushing 340 pounds. Big back, big back, big back, big back. Didn't fit in shit. I could not move. And baby, we was struggling. We was struggling to wipe at one point, believe it or not. We was really struggling to wipe. I'm only 5'9", which is not too tall, but it's just like my bone structure, I guess, or like my body just like can't handle the weight anymore. I've tried going to the gym, and all that happens, like even with dieting and exercise, like I gain more muscle, and muscle sits on top of fat, so I look a little bigger. Mind you, I was very active. I did work out a lot throughout high school, so I have all that muscle memory. I have muscle that still lingers, and again, muscle sits on top of fat, so I look extremely large. Medical history: I do have thyroid issues, I have Hashimoto's, I have psoriasis, I have eczema,
I got what?
The eczema.
I have asthma, I have high blood pressure, I have pre-diabetes. There was one point that I did have diabetes. I have depression, I have anxiety, I am on the spectrum. What else is there? I have high cholesterol, sleep apnea, EOE, which is eosinophilic esophagitis. As you can see, like there's a lot going on with me, and the thing about having autoimmune disorders is that your body tends to be like, you get overexerted, okay? Like the amount of exhaustion that I have just by doing something so minimal, like when I tell you, like if I'm like raking the backyard, when I tell you how many times I have to stop, you would be like, what the hell? Like, why do you have to stop that much? And like, it's crazy because my heart is okay. My lungs are actually okay. But it's just the fact that like having autoimmune disorders, multiple autoimmune disorders, really do have like a huge impact and a huge effect on the body and how it responds to physical activity, getting sick. Like when I tell you I can get sick for a whole entire month, I mean that. Like my body goes to the ringer. So with the weight loss surgery, what happened is that I did talk to my pulmonologist and I wanted to get a new CPAP machine because at the time my CPAP machine was already 4 years old and I was just having issues with it. Insurance wasn't sending like new tubing anymore. So he kind of brought up like, I forgot what it's called, but it's like a little monitor that you use, no wires or anything. It's like a little monitor thing that you put on and it's supposed to be good for people who have sleep apnea. So he said, you have to be like a certain weight for that. And he asked me, are you opposed to getting weight loss surgery? Because at that time I was on Ozempic for a couple months last year, back in 2024. And that failed miserably. It caused me to have so many symptoms. It caused me to be sick. It caused me to have like a lot of issues, which sucked. It really did suck because I had high hopes for the Ozempic, but it just made me gain even more weight. I didn't have bowel movements for like 9 months. Oh my gosh. Not me being pregnant. Oh my god. I didn't have bowels for 9 days. And I ended up in an emergency room multiple times for related issues to the Ozempic. I talked to my PCP, my primary care physician. She said yes. I talked to a gastro doctor, which I then ended up having an endoscopy done. The pulmonologist, and then I did talk to one of my psychiatrists who knew about everything regarding my weight because I've known her for like 4 years now. My weight struggles. And what basically like clearance from all of them, I then started the workup. So I went to go see a bariatric doctor. He told me what kind of surgery I would be having, which is the gastric sleeve, which is what I am having on March 18th, which is in 5 days from now. That workup started, I want to say September. So all throughout September, October, November, December, January, February, and March, all these 7 months have been intense. We're talking about seeing several doctors because you do have to go through many, many doctors before surgery. It's called the workup point. So within those months, you're working up. So you're making dietary changes. You're seeing a nutritionist. You're seeing a cardiologist. You're getting the clearance from your cardiologist. You're seeing an endocrinologist. You're having blood work. You're seeing your PCP. You're having more blood work. You're seeing the nutritionist again. You're talking to the psychologist. You're going through therapy. So I've been completely consistent. Mind you, this is my second time trying to get weight loss surgery. The first time, I feel like I didn't have a good enough support system. Everyone just kept telling me to just diet and exercise, and like that's what I've been trying pretty much my whole life, but we kind of just revert back to this point where I become sick, I become overweight, or I become too underweight, and then I just gain weight back, and then my blood pressure gets worse, my diabetes comes back, and it's just like back and forth. It's like too much for me. So at 30 years old, It's like I'm at this point where like I need a complete lifestyle change because I do overindulge when it comes to food. My mind takes a very long time for it to understand that it's full. Like before all of this, constantly stuffing my face with food.
You tried to eat a second plate in front of all those people.
Like making myself sick. Like knowing that I have lactose intolerance and knowing that I have like a gluten sensitivity, I was just like not really caring. Knowing that I have high blood pressure and like pre-diabetes, I didn't really care. I was constantly eating cake and cookies and chocolate. So, you know, we're at this point now where I'm starting to realize that like the longevity of life is very important. Like not only that, but also being healthy with the rest of the time I have here on earth. Like who doesn't want to be healthy for a very long time? Like I want to be in my 70s, 80s, possibly 90s, maybe even 100 or 102 or 103. Being able to walk. I don't want to be in a wheelchair. I don't want to suffer from a heart attack. I don't want to die of a stroke. I don't want to have high cholesterol. Like I want to be extremely healthy as possible. Mind you, also another thing too is that like both of my parents suffer from very like severe medical issues. My dad just had a kidney transplant last year. My dad was I was on the verge of losing my dad and my mom to kidney failure, and my mom also has congestive heart failure. My parents are very close in age. My mom's 65. My dad just turned 64. So, yeah, my dad's doing okay so far. He did get his kidney transplant. And then my mom is just starting her dialysis pretty soon. And I'm about half their age. And I'm already going through all these issues that I can reverse. And weight loss surgery for me, with all the research that I've done, is just going to solidify that longevity of being healthy and living healthy and having this healthy lifestyle change that I desperately need. And I know some people might say like it's the easier way out, whatever the case may be. I'm not too disciplined enough, but I feel like these past few months have definitely counterattacked those kind of those reasons to not get the surgery. Here I am. I haven't missed any appointment. I've been extremely consistent. I will say not extremely consistent because I have had many points where I was just like, you know what, I'm not going to be able to have this after surgery, so I would have it. And that one of the last things I had was like this pistachio like mousse cake, and then I also had one of my favorite pizza places. I only had 2 slices from there, but then I did bite a couple more pieces off of my friend's pizza. It wasn't that bad. That pretty much sums up everything that I do have to talk about in regards to as to why I'm getting this surgery. So yeah, stay tuned for the next video. If you do have any questions or comments, you could leave them down in the comment section, I guess. Yeah. And then I will put timestamps. This is probably going to go up on TikTok and YouTube, but yeah, YouTube will have all the timestamps for you guys to look through. So yeah, until next time, I'll post as much as possible. I'll probably post me going into surgery if my anxiety doesn't kick in and say, yeah, this is awkward. You have a whole camera in front of these people. If they let me, because I know last surgery with the endoscopy, they wouldn't let me like film anything, but it was hilarious when I woke up. Absolutely hilarious. But yeah, again, if you have any questions, leave them down below. I will answer every single comment. I love responding to comments. So even if they're bad, all right? So stay healthy, stay alive, love yourself. Don't let anybody stop you from doing the things that you feel like is going to benefit you. As long as you're not hurting anybody, keep moving forward. Be happy. Listen, quoting the 4 agreements, not about you. It's about them.
On a pussy hoe.